A whole lot of wild and crazy things going on today. So I will be doing an extra video right now, the one you're watching, and I'll still have my video later on tonight where we do, of course, the Monday morning show, which talks about all the financial and stock and everything else that's going to be taking place next week. And that's when I'll talk about any estimates or predictions I have with regard to Tesla stock, with regard to the entire market. But just in general, all those kind of things will be later on this afternoon. Of course, I will say I'm still looking for 300 by the 14th, although I know that sounds a little bit far-fetched at this point. But what the heck? That was my statement. I'm sticking by it. Okay. I'll have a huge announcement at the end of this regarding the LK-99 room temperature superconductor. Stay tuned for that. Okay, I just uploaded an unfinished book that I wrote called, I put it up on Patreon. It's called Doing the Hard Things. I promise you, it is 100% free. You can get up there. You can be up there for 7 days for free. All you got to do is sign up. The information is in the instruction in the description below. And you sign up for 7 days. And if you're not interested in continuing, you don't have to continue. But if you continue, it's $5 a month. You can read the book in that 7 days easily. It's short. I didn't look back, but I think it's around 30 or 35 pages. Maybe it's longer. I'm not sure, but there is some really good stuff there. If I don't mind saying so myself, I just had so many other things on my plate, and I've decided not to write any more books because this channel is giving me far greater reach and a far greater reward. So, all right, that's join Patreon. It'd be great. Like, subscribe, notify. We have a week ahead of us. The kind of content that's coming up this week, I can't even begin to talk about it. It's going to be, I just don't know what to tell you. All right, let's start with for today, though. Let's start with Pepsi's the charging speed on the semi-truck, according to Pepsi, became an issue today. But let's talk about the overall picture with regard to the Pepsi announcements. Pepsi did a nice commercial. I don't know whether it was in conjunction with Tesla. It was also in conjunction, I think, with their local, what do you call it, utility. And it was a great little video, and it talked about how they're typically driving the trucks 250 to 450 miles. They're doing them with full loads. They're trying to maximize the experience to find out just how far they can possibly go with it. And it's all working perfectly well. They had people some of their drivers, both men and women drivers, who were talking about how comfortable the vehicle is, how easy it is to operate. One woman said that even though she's kind of a technophobe, that she learned how to use all of the onboarding information and drive the truck just fine within 30 minutes. So that was all very interesting, and everybody was very intrigued by it. And they talked about getting 1.7 miles per getting 1.7 kilograms per mile. Is that right? I might have that backwards. Whatever it was a really good number. And they talked about, of course, using the various, how that might compare to diesel. Lots of people were saying that seemed not to be good enough. It is plenty good enough, believe me. There have been quite a number of reports now that try to make that look like not good enough. It is on the order of 20% of what it would cost for diesel. Well, anyway, the big issue came up with regard to the charging speed, and they were saying that they were going from 10% to 95% in under 30 minutes on a regular basis. I called Brian Wang, and I said, "Hey, Brian, what's going on with that? Is that real?" He said, "Sure." He says, "Now, maybe that's the 300-mile version of the vehicle, or maybe they're using two chargers at the same time, but that would be a reasonable number. In a half an hour, they should be able to get 250, 300 miles added to the truck." So anyway, that is the best I've got for that one right now. So then Elon's going to be in the news. You know he's going to be in the news. He's been in the news forever. He's going to keep a high profile for all of his companies, including Tesla. So the latest thing is the Musk versus Zuck fight is back in front and center. It will be live streamed, according to Elon. It will be live streamed on where? X. Of course, it'll be on X. The proceeds of the live streaming will go to veterans' causes. And he says it's a civilized form of war, and men love war. So anyway, that is what he's saying about the ongoing plan for this fight. He is preparing. I know Zuck is preparing too. Zuck is trying to add weight. I guess that makes sense if you're going to go up somebody that's a lot bigger and heavier than you are. And Elon is trying to add muscle, which would make sense because Zuck is in great shape. So Elon is, he says he's lifting weights throughout the day, preparing for the fight. And he also used that weightlifting effort at the office as the very first ever live feed on X. So that was kind of interesting as well. He says he doesn't have time to work out, so I just bring them to work. And then he also announced today that he's going to give legal support to anybody who gets in trouble for posting something on X. If they post something on X and their boss gets mad at them, they lose their job, they get into a fight, they get demoted, and something happens and they're in a legal situation where they need help, X will pay the legal bills, and he says unlimited. It's an unlimited offer. So that was pretty darn interesting too. All right, let me tell you about that was really kind of all the news this afternoon. There wasn't a ton of stuff going on out there, but what I wanted to mostly tell you about is about the of course the I'm sorry, not LK-99, the superconductor that works in room temperature. I want to just say, listen, this is a massive deal. Normally on something like this that's just in the lab and it's being disputed and everything, I would probably just mention it here and there. I've decided that this deserves a tremendous focus from this channel in order to make sure that you are up to date on what's going on. People say, well, how does this affect Tesla? Why? This isn't Tesla news. Believe me, it affects Tesla and SpaceX and Neuralink and everything else. It affects virtually everything that Elon Musk is doing, even Twitter. But most of all, we're about Tesla. So this is electrical, it's electronic. It's going to affect computers. It's going to affect motors. It's going to affect charging speeds. I mean, it's going to affect everything. So one way or the other, and people were also asking about the patent. No, there is a patent. We had that partially wrong the other day. There is a patent that's been put out there. And again, who knows how much coverage that patent is going to have, whether people will be able to easily get around it, whether somebody like Elon has already purchased that patent. Anyway, but I can be pretty confident. I've said this several times already that Elon and his various materials engineers are hot on this, trying to replicate it, trying to make decisions about where it applies, about where they might be doing something that might be unique and special, et cetera, et cetera. So where we are right now is that in general, what I'm hearing is this may or may not be the real thing, but even if it isn't a low temperature or a room temperature superconductor, it is on the way to being, or it is a step, or it is a useful exercise, or in other words, there's a lot of meat on these bones. The betting right now is at 31% roughly that it is the real thing. You heard, of course, I think I mentioned yesterday that the folks at ARK Invest, their top team, their futurist team, got together. They think there's a 60% chance that it's for real. Brian says that he thinks it's got a good chance of being for real. Again, it may not do everything it needs to do. It may not be the final solution. It may not be exactly what everybody's hoping for, but what we're going to do, Brian has agreed to come on every single day. That's what we're going to do. So we'll still have our morning show. That'll be normal. We'll get up every day and we'll do the morning show about the stock market and about Tesla's news overnight and things that might be affecting the stock that day. We will still do a second show every day, typically an interview. Lots of interviews lined up for next week. It is going to be a great week. Unbelievable content coming this week. I mean, I know I keep saying that, but every week it feels like there's something or somebody that's got some kind of breakthrough information. And I can tell you right now, both Rene and Larry Goldberg and maybe Brian White all have that kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about next week. It's going to be absolutely mind-blowing. So but that one will either be in the afternoon or the evening, and then whichever one, it'll either be around noon or around 4 California time. We will do the update on the LK-99 story with Brian Wang. And Brian, believe me, if you don't already know, Brian, he has the top science blog in the world. He gets 1 million views per month. He's putting up postings every single day. It's called nextbigfuture.com. If you want to go take a look, he's putting up stuff every single day, 3, 4, 5 articles. I'm reading those articles. I am going on Twitter and looking at hundreds and hundreds of posts. I mean, there's literally 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 posts a minute, every minute of the day with regard to LK-99. I'm having to go through all the stupid stuff and try to find the stuff that's real. I'm going on to every one of my other sources and seeing if I can find anything else that's important, that's critical, that's coming up. And that is what we'll be reporting to every single day. So, and on those reports, we will probably slide in, if there's any big time Tesla or Elon Musk news, we'll throw those in too, but it'll be mostly about the LK-99. So that's my big announcement. I hope that's interesting to you. I hope it's valuable to you. I believe it's, well, again, you don't have to believe me. People, really serious scientists are saying if this is true, it is, at least as big as the breakthrough earlier this year with regard to AI. It is maybe as big as when the world became electric. It might be that kind of a step. So anyway, it's huge. So hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify, and of course, Patreon. This is, I don't know how much better I can make you an offer than in order to get you to at least try Patreon. I'm going to be putting up this kind of content on a regular basis, but this is a serious book that I was writing called Doing the Hard Things. And it's really about how all of us have something that they really don't want to do. It's like if they would take that one extra step, maybe it would be that extra hour of practice, swinging the bat or hitting the golf balls. Maybe it would be making one more call per day if you're a salesman on a cold call that might be the difference between making it not, and you're just like, I can't do it, or maybe it would be stepping up to the line and trying something completely new that you should be able to do, that is going to change your life and make things better. It might be making a big decision in your life about something that's important to you, but you just haven't been able to make that decision. Anyway, there's a whole list of these. I think there's 30 or 40 of these ideas about making changes in your life that most are not even changes. Sometimes it's just doing that one thing that you do sometimes, but you don't do it all the time. And in your knower that if you did that harder thing. So take a look. Costs you nothing, 7 days free. Go up there, check it out. And then if you think it was worth $5, then hang in there and join Patreon. Okay, that's all I've got for now. I will see you later today on Monday morning.